it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 16 Pro and compare it against the iPhone 15 Pro and see which particular iPhone is the better one for you. Now, I've been using the 15 Pro for the last year almost, and the 16 Pro is the latest generation of this one. It's supposed to be the successor. And here's the thing, there's a couple things I like about the 16 Pro. I think the 15 Pro is a very good phone still, and if you want to pick up, either one of these, links will be down in the description. You get it from there, you can help support the channel at the same time. But I think the 15 Pro is still a very good phone, and I really would not go from a 15 Pro to a 16 Pro, but there are some really cool things going on between both. So, first of all, on the exterior, the 15 Pro is actually a little bit of a smaller iPhone than the iPhone 16 Pro. So on the front of the 15 Pro, you're basically getting a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display, and it's a great panel. I still think it looks very, very good. I have a privacy screen protector on mine, but overall this is still a very good panel. Dynamic island, very thin bezels on it, and when I first originally saw this particular panel, I was like, I don't know how Apple could do any better. But it's a beautiful device, beautiful panel, and I think it looks very, very good for the most part. On the 16 Pro, this is a little bit of a bigger sized screen. So this is now a 6.3-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display, and this thing looks very, very good as well. Like I said before, I generally don't think Apple can do, I don't know how much better they can do here. This is a bigger panel. It still gives giving you a dynamic island, but it has thinner bezels all around, and it kind of is in the same footprint as something like the iPhone 15 Pro. There's not that big of a difference here, I would say. So, nicer, bigger panel here, but I think it's the same brightness, so there's not really even that big of a difference here. In terms of the buttons and the layout on the sides, so there's a slight difference here too. With the 16 Pro and the 15 Pro, they're pretty much the same type of layout, but you can kind of get an idea of kind of a little bit how bigger the iPhone 16 Pro is. It's kind of the same size. USB Type-C ports on the bottom. On the right side though, we do have this new camera button here, which is really cool. Where this antenna band used to be, it is now where this camera button is, and it actually is really cool because it allows you to use it. It's really cool. I'll show you how to do that kind of in a second. On the back side, you're getting your frosted glass backs, so it's still fairly similar, good layout for the most part, not too many issues here, but they both look very good. Both have LiDAR sensors, and there's not really a lot of other crazy things going on here for the most part. So on the exterior, I would still say both these look very good. There's not any insane differences here as far as I can tell, but you are, as you probably would have guessed it, you are getting a little bit of a better capability, I guess, on the 16 Pro on the exterior, but the 15 Pro I think is still a very good phone when it comes down to it as well. So that kind of covers it up there. Now from the software longevity side, this is something that's also very crucial to understand. Because the 16 Pro is the latest iPhone, and this one has the highest likelihood of outlasting the 15 Pro. So if you're wanting the phone that's going to last you for a longer period of time, the iPhone 16 Pro is going to be the one that's for you, right? If I'm going to go and pick up a device, that is the one I'd probably recommend a vast majority of people to go and pick up. But I would still imagine that something like the 15 Pro is still going to be here for many, many more years to come. And I wouldn't really worry about which one's going to last the longest right now, because they're both going to be lasting for many years. It's such a small difference there. So I want to get that out of the way as well. And you have to remember the 16 Pro is a $1,000 phone. The 15 Pro was a $1,000 phone, but this phone is probably closer to $700 or $800 now than it is to $1,000 at this point. So that kind of covers it up there. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 15 Pro has that Apple A17 Pro chip inside of it with 8 GB of RAM, where the iPhone 16 Pro has that Apple A18 Pro chip inside of it with 8 GB of RAM as well. So let's go and see which one's a faster phone between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background. 16 Pro is here, iPhone 15 Pro is here. Let's open up some basic apps. Let's do cameras, 3, 2, 1. Okay, not too big of a difference here as far as I can tell. Let's take a photo, 3, 2, 1. So this one does have the sound on. I kind of forgot about that. And even with some basic stuff like this, there's not going to be an insane amount of difference here. Let's do their app stores, 3, 2, 1. This one is also on iOS 17.7. This was on iOS 18. So there's going to be a slight difference there as well.
Klook, travel, hotels, leisure.
So scrolling through, let's see if there's any big differences here, which, as you probably would have guessed, is probably not going to be too insane. Let's tap back all the way to the top. Let's tap out of both these apps. And the 120 Hz definitely helps out a lot in both of these particular apps, or both these particular phones for the most part. Now, let's go and do something like, some basic applications here. We can try something like... Now, I did forget to download some applications here, so I'm going to go take a second to actually download these apps here. Okay, we're back. I downloaded these applications. I opened them all up, so they should be the same. Let's do Netflix, 3, 2, 1. And the 16 Pro slightly faster. Let's do Quizlet, which I still don't have here. Thank you, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 16 Pro a little bit faster here. The 15 Pro a little slower, but you're not going to notice these types of differences, I don't think. Like when you're comparing these two, they're going to be very much the same. Snake first blocks, 3, 2, 1. And with this one, you can kind of see again. So some slight differences here as well, but I'm telling you, like, I don't think you're going to be noticing any big differences here in terms of like the gameplay. Actually, in terms of gameplay, you should be seeing some differences, but Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. You're not going to notice them as long as you're not comparing them side by side, is basically what I'm trying to say. Within this particular application as well, you can kind of see what's going on. And with the iPhone 16 Pro, you can see this one definitely was pretty fast. I don't know why the 15 Pro was so slow here. I did just open this one up because I downloaded it. I wanted to get through that downloading content panel, which it still showed. So that could have been a reason why it was a little bit faster here, but this one is pretty much what you'd expect like day to day because Temple Run is just a weird application like that. You can see right here in terms of gameplay here, once again, it's going to be around the same thing. There's not going to be too many big differences here as far as I can tell. But you can see here pretty much the same type of thing. Hopping out of here, let's go in and do another one. Let's go and see stack 3, 2, 1. And within this one, once again, I mean, like, you know, the ads and everything are going to kind of mess things up a little bit. But you can see here again, there's not really going to be too many big differences here as far as you can tell. So from these basic applications that I just tested, I will definitely tell you, you're going to be getting, again, fairly similar speeds. The 16 Pro is going to be the faster one, but I really wouldn't go from one phone to the other just based off this speed comparison. I'm going to have some more apps to test out in the future, but I do think when it comes down to both phones are great and everything, but the 16 Pro is probably going to be the faster one when it kind of comes down to it. Now from the camera side, there's also some other big things to keep in mind here too. They're both giving you fairly good camera setups, right? So they're both triple camera setups, wide ultra-wide telephoto lenses. They both can do 4K at 60 on the front and the back, but the iPhone 16 Pro can actually do 4K at 120 frames per second on the front, which is one of the bigger advantages for this phone. You can also zoom in more in this type of camera than the iPhone 15 Pro. So that is kind of one thing to kind of keep in mind there for the most part. Now, one thing I kind of want to show you is within the actual camera applications between both, because as you probably would have expected, there's a lot of similarity here, right? There's not really like too many differences as far as you can tell. This is kind of what the camera layout looks. But if you go and zoom in the max on the iPhone 15 Pro, you zoom in the max on the iPhone 16 Pro, you can see you can do 25x zoom on the 16 Pro, where the 15 Pro is 15x. So there's a lot more zooming in that you can do on the iPhone 16 Pro. On top of that, you're still getting fairly similar modes between the most part, but you can also see with the camera button on the iPhone 16 Pro, you can like zoom in and zoom out with this camera button right here, as you can see, where the 15 Pro doesn't have that. You can still zoom in via the screen, but that is a very nice thing that you have inside of the iPhone 16 Pro. So if I'm going to pick up a camera, I do like the iPhone 16 Pro a lot because of that. The camera apps themselves still act and, they're fairly similar. There's not too many differences here. But I would probably tell you the iPhone 16 Pro with having that addition of that 120 frames per second and 4K is really, really nice. And it's going to be overall a better camera. But I really, even in the camera in the video mode, you can see here, for zooming in 9x zoom on the iPhone 15 Pro, 15x zoom on the iPhone 16 Pro, that's going to be a pretty big advantage for the 16 Pro when it kind of comes down to it. So overall, what I'll definitely tell you between both phones, I look at a phone like the iPhone 15 Pro and, I'm a fan of it. I feel like this type of device still holds up fairly well. And I honestly wouldn't even expect myself to upgrade if I didn't have to. Like if I didn't already buy the 16 Pro, I probably wouldn't upgrade. The 15 Pro is still like a 9 out of 10 for me. All it's missing really is that camera button that I actually like a lot. Otherwise, with the 16 Pro, I'm not really noticing anything else. Like, I'm not noticing any reason why I would upgrade from a 15 Pro here. The 16 Pro, though, is a very good phone. Like, it has a lot of cool stuff on it. It's a faster phone. It's a bigger phone. The camera button's really cool. Still giving you the action button here and everything like that. Otherwise, though, I probably wouldn't upgrade the better battery life and stuff. But otherwise, both phones are great. If you have a 15 Pro, keep it. But if you don't have a 15 Pro, you have a 13 Pro or 12 Pro, then you could probably go and upgrade to the 16. But at that point, I'd go for the 15 Pro anyway. So that pretty much covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.